in Karnataka, this time over fresh restrictions imposed on media access inside the Vidhana Soudha. Journalists staged a silent protest near the Gandhi statue located between Vidhana Soudha and Vikasa Soudha, raising concerns over what they call curbs on press freedom. Dressed in black clothes and wearing black masks, media representatives held a symbolic sit-in, protesting against new limits on their movement within the legislature complex. The controversy was triggered by a directive issued by the Department of Personnel and Administrative Reforms, and in a letter dated January 9 to the DPAR instructed that journalists be confined to a designated area at the portico near the West Gate, also known as the Kengal Gate, to seek reactions from political leaders. And reporters argue that this order restricts their ability to freely access lawmakers and carry out their professional duties inside the premises. And they say the move undermines transparency and hampers independent reporting from one of Karnataka's most important democratic institutions, because this is where some of the big decisions are taken. Officials, however, maintain that the directive is intended to regulate movement and ensure order within the high security legislature complex. The protest, described by participants as peaceful and symbolic, has now sparked a broader debate on access, accountability and the role of the press inside Vidhana Soudha. And the question now is regulation for security or restriction on press freedom? This is the question that's being asked. Gautam is also joining us live to give us more details on what exactly is happening. Gautam, a very good afternoon to you. What is that directive that was issued by the DPAR? And we've seen how journalists have responded by staging a silent protest at the Gandhi statue. Gautam, tell us more.
In Bangalore, staged a symbolic protest today right outside the Gandhi statue in Vidhana Soudha. Now, this protest actually follows the directive, like you rightly pointed out, by the DPAR. And what they're saying is that they feel that the journalists are basically hounding the public representatives, and they seem to be forgetting that the MLAs, the MLCs, the ministers, chief minister, deputy CM, everyone are public representatives. And this directive also, there's also one certain part that I want to highlight here as well, that it instructs us, the journalists, not to follow the chief minister or other ministers inside the premises to record statements. Basically, this goes on to say that if you have to read between the lines here, they are going to issue statements, take that, and do not ask us for any issues that make us uncomfortable. That is what you need to understand from this DPAR directive that has been issued to the journalists. Now, as part of the Journalists Association, a director representation has been given to the media advisor, to the chief minister, and now he has assured that the concerns would be raised and it would be looked at the contents of the circular, and it would be reviewed. But as of now, if you have to understand what is actually happening, is that the journalists have now been confined to a designated area at the portico near the west gate of Vidhana Soudha. Now, this basically is a small corner where the journalists gather there to obtain reactions from political leaders. And now what the government is essentially doing is that they are restricting our ability to freely access the lawmakers and carry out our professional duties as well. And another important point to note as well is that from now on, the DPAR itself is going to be in control of who gets access to Vidhana Soudha as well. That basically ensures, looks like a form of favoritism from the government, that they will get to choose the media representatives who will get to come to Vidhana Soudha and get the reaction from them. So all of this is basically suppression of the fourth estate, and the sooner the Karnataka government takes down this directive, I feel it will be better for them here, Deepak.
That's right, Gautam. Stay on with me. We have Vijay Grover, also senior journalist, joining us live. Vijay Grover, firstly, your thoughts on how there's an iron curtain now that has been dropped by the Karnataka government's DPAR department as far as press freedom is concerned within the premises of the Vidhana Soudha. How do you look at it, sir?
Well, see, it's a very unfortunate development, I would say, that the Karnataka government is bringing in these kind of restrictions to, prevent journalists. One can see people, contractors, people with political influence walking around the Vidhana Soudha in the corridors of power, unstopped. But when it comes to journalists doing their work, certainly the government does not want information flow to be free-flowing. That is very clearly given the fact that both the leaders, the CM and DCM, the kind of power struggle that we are seeing in the government seems to be one of the big reasons that the government does not want media to have free access to Vidhana Soudha, Karnataka. I can tell you from the time I've been in the profession for 28 years in Karnataka, and we used to have what was called the Vidhana Soudha media round, where politicians, the ministers, the bureaucrats would share information about the development work that used to happen in Karnataka. It was, I would say, amongst all the southern states, Karnataka gave maximum access to media, gave maximum freedom to media to write about the works of the government. But in the last couple of months, we've seen the news flows have become only about the power struggle between the CM and the DCM, and that's what seems to be a prime reason that the government is stopping. And not just at this. This is one of the steps, I would say, that the Information Department has taken as far as media access is concerned. Even the accreditations have been restricted. People with long-standing accreditations are now being curtailed, and that is something which is very unfortunate. The government, it seems, wants media only of its liking to have a renewal of accreditations. And this is very unfortunate that senior journalists, including me, have now to fight for getting our accreditations, and that is something which is very sorry state of affairs as far as the Information Department is concerned. Now, why is the government doing it is the big question. Certainly, as media flows is something which is very a reason that some of the bureaucrats give is the growth of the YouTube channels which are able to not give credible information. So while there should be norms, I say, as far as media access or concerns that are required, but it cannot be free-flowing, and there should be better governance in terms of ensuring that freedom of the press is not hindered.
That's right, Mr. Grover, and even in the past as well, there has been terms when the Congress has been in power, but never has any government of Karnataka brought in such a directive. So why do you think this is being done, sir? Is there something that the government doesn't really want, to flow out through media, or what is it? Apart from the YouTubers angle that you gave us, what else is, the government trying to hide?
Well, very clearly the power struggle, as I told you, between D.K. Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah, the kind of power struggle, because there is anger amongst the MLAs, there is anger amongst ministers, there is people are upset about the way the state government is being run. So that is something which is causing the kind of restriction of information. And as I told you earlier, maybe even till about 3 or 4 years back, when we had the last BJP government of Bombay, there was this media rounds which were allowed, and the way we could go around Vidhana Soudha, gather our stories, get our stories. I mean, nobody goes there out of fun or pleasure or for a picnic. We all go there only for getting work done, which is assigned to us. And if that is curtailed, you are hampering flow of information, and that is detrimental to public interest. Given the fact that if a journalist is not able to do his or her duty, there is no way that people will come to know as to what's going on, what's wrong. In fact, yesterday, Mr. Satish Jakhewala also agreed. If you remember that during the BJP government, there was a charge made of 40% commissions to the BJP. But now, yesterday, he openly said commissions are there, commissions will remain, and commissions will continue given the contractors' lobby. It is very clearly these are the kind of things that need to be hidden and are being hidden. And that's the reason why you find the Department of Information, the way it is behaving in restricting media access, is a clear testimony to the fact that the bad work of some of the contractors or officials needs to be hidden. And that's the reason why media is being curtailed now to one corner where a politician may stop his car, may not stop his car. And, that could be something which would be certainly a very sad state of affairs.
So Grover, they don't want the muck to come out, and that's why they're trying to stifle the fourth pillar of democracy. Gautam, what's the way forward, Gautam? Will this protest yield any result?
Because representation has been given by the journalists to the chief minister's advisor, and he has promised that he will review and look into it as well. But there is something that we need to point out here in Karnataka. It's not that Congress is the only government that has, brought on such restrictions on journalists. We've seen in the past as well, right from the GDS Congress coalition when Kumaraswamy tried similar restrictions. He complained that the mics were being shoved into his face, and basically, I remember him saying that it was being shoved in his face when he wasn't in the mood, and that is the reason he brought in restrictions back then. Then in the subsequent 2019 government as well, Yediyurappa banned private cameras from recording assembly proceedings. Now, that rule actually stemmed from that 2012 scandal where ministers were caught watching pornographic substance on their mobiles in the House floor. And in 2021, after Bommai replaced Yediyurappa, we also saw his administration trying to ban filming in the corridors entirely as well. So it's not the first instance, but all of them, after representations from the media representatives, the journalists, all of these were rolled back. So it remains to be seen if this happens as well. And like Vijay Grover pointed out as well, just because a government doesn't feel comfortable about the questions that are being asked regarding your party, if there is internal strife, the people deserve to know about it. We are here to represent the people and ask questions of the public representatives. We are not PR here just doing their work and bringing their message to the people. It's also about communicating what's really happening internally. If there is strife, the people deserve to know, and that is what the Congress needs to understand as well and roll back this directive as soon as possible.
Right, Gautam, the politicians have put comfort first. That's the priority that they've, placed on. And whereas journalists, on the other hand, we demand accountability, viewers. But with such directives being issued and media being blocked, then accountability will be lost. And that's something that's very concerning.